Hi, I'm Raj from Sunrise Radio, and part of our leadership series on International Women's Day, we're speaking to Poonam Joshi, campaigner, journalist, and founder of Indian Ladies UK. Welcome to Sunrise Radio, Poonam.
Thank you so much, Raj, for having me.
So let's start off with you founded Indian Ladies UK in 2015, I believe. What inspired you to create this platform for migrant Indian women in Britain, and explain the impetus behind it?
Firstly, I am a first generation migrant woman myself. I moved here in 2006, and I didn't discover these kind of groups until about 2014, which is when I joined maybe there were just one or two existing Indian women's Facebook groups. And while those groups talked about networking and kitty parties and all kinds of girly things, I saw that whenever a woman came up with her question about the problems she was facing, be it domestic abuse, be it bullying at work or anything, they would just shun her down. And I thought, if it's a women's group, it should be handling it should be for all kinds of women. And that's what motivated me to start Indian Ladies UK. And uh, and and I thought, no, there has to be a platform where uh, women facing any kind of struggles or challenges can just openly talk about it, and they won't be judged. And that was the start of it, and here we are, almost 11 years later, not just 15, sorry, 10 years later. And we are one of the largest Indian women's organizations,
Now,
catering to all women.
Now, you mentioned, you're one of the largest. How has the organization evolved since its early days as a social media group to today?
Yeah. So, yeah, we started as a social media group, and then we registered as a not for profit organization. And now we are going through charity registration. But it was a more informal setup when we started. And obviously, I am a journalist, and I was a journalist back then as well. So I didn't really understand the laws fully and how to go about helping a woman facing domestic abuse. So I had to just Google everything and find out and refer women to this organization, that organization. But today, 10 years later, Raj, I can confidently say that in these 10 years, I have trained myself to become a domestic abuse practitioner. I've gone through various trainings on a national level and counseling trainings. And today we don't just cater to our own women. We get calls from the police. We are helping local councils when they get any woman who is a migrant and might have language difficulties or cultural issues. Then they always reach out to us, and we have grown massively, and we have become lobbyists and activists, and we just go all out now, that as compared to when we were a more informal kind of an organization, just a Facebook group.
Now, you mentioned you've been a journalist, you're a correspondent for media outlets. How does journalism complement your campaigning work, do you believe?
I think it's a blessing that that I have had some experience with journalism as well in my life, because whatever goes into my ear is not the truth. Uh, that's what I believe. As a journalist, it's very important to to see the facts, to have the evidence, and then base your judgment on what you are seeing. And that's what I put into my work as a domestic abuse practitioner as well. That making sure I have knowledge of absolutely everything. I've seen enough evidence. So my investigative journalism kind of kicks in the moment I am dealing with any case. And it helps me remain unbiased and neutral and just focused on what I'm supposed to do.
Now, what role do you believe media should play in highlighting the issues facing migrant communities in particular?
Huge role, especially for migrant community, because we are not like people who are already living here and who were born here and grew up here and know everything about the laws or how everything works here. We face a lot of challenges. First of all, we leave everything behind, our protective circle, our families, sometimes our jobs, and everything that we have known throughout our lives. And then we move to an alien country. And here we have our own challenges with isolation to begin with, because we don't know many people here. And then bullying at work. Kids can be bullied in schools. There can be domestic abuse. No, not enough information about what rights we have in this country. Who can we reach out for help, etc. I have not seen any South Asian media highlighting these issues as much as the mainstream media has sometimes highlighted it, and that too, any news that becomes national ends up going into a mainstream newspaper. But our local newspapers, I don't see I don't see much coverage, although they can do a lot to help migrants. They can help uh, uh, them integrate better in the British society, or they can help them fight for justice. Um, I see many posts or many news about uh, saving a temple, but I wouldn't see much about saving a woman, for example. So, yeah,
Okay, moving back to Indian Ladies UK, what are your hopes for the organization in the future and the women it supports?
my hopes are high. I want to move on from catering to a larger, community, more South Asians, be it from Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Nepal, um, and not just limiting myself to helping Indian women. I mean, through councils and police, we do get women who are not Indian, but obviously our cultures are very similar, and we all have very patriarchal structures in our families and in our countries. So I think it would be important for women of other countries who are within the South Asian region to also know about us and get the help that all the other Indian women are getting. So, may hopefully, once we register as a charity this year, we would be able to cater to more women.
And how would someone go about finding out more information about your organization?
We have a website, we have social media pages, just like the police and the local councils find us. We have not given our details to anybody, but I think some keywords help for South Asian women, help for Indian women in the UK, I think brings us up. And our phone number is there anytime, anybody can call. And what I've seen is that if you call a mainstream domestic abuse charity, uh, you they won't work out of hours. Your phone call won't be picked, and you will be asked to send an email, and that email might be replied to after 2 days, a week, or whatever. In our case, even if somebody calls at 2 a.m. in the morning, their call will be picked and somebody will speak to them. And if there is an emergency, we will put together things uh, to safeguard them or to provide them what is urgently needed for them.
And finally, because we are short of time, if you could change one thing to improve the lives of migrant women in the UK, what would it be?
it would be their visa dependency on their partners. Because I've seen a lot of the times women end up staying with their abusive partners uh, because they are tied to their visas, and that's that's when they are suppressed and they are threatened that if you don't listen to me, I'll cancel your visa and send you back to India. And these visa holders, they don't also get enough help. So you have to be on a certain visa, like you have to be married to a British citizen or a settled person to even get some help from the council. But if you are a dependent of somebody who is also on a visa, there is no help for women. So I would like to campaign for same what do you call same treatment to all domestic abuse victims, and also this whole tying up a person to somebody's visa and taking away their independence, that needs to change as well.
Thank you for joining us today, Poonam.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.